Hello friends, it's that time again. I'm going to watch another Nick Crowley video today. It's gonna be a little bit spooky. So it's gonna be very exciting to watch another type of, dark videos today. So we're going to watch Nick Crowley, The Darkest Moments in TV History, Part 6. I've already watched some parts of, this series, like the dark moments of TV history. So this is gonna be very interesting, a new content to see. And please leave a like and subscribe. I want to grow this channel. It's now time to watch the darkness.
Has really
Warning,
shaken up this
cautious
Monk's Corner
image.
neighborhood.
Here it is, friends. This video may contain scenes that may sound upsetting and distressing for some. As I said, like, if you feel uncomfortable from watching this video, it's okay to click off from this video. If you feel uncomfortable with this type of topics like self-harm, harming others, uh, taking advantage of others, and death. So be warned. This is gonna be very, very dark too. So yeah.
One resident said she was too worried about her children to come out and talk with us. And Sheriff MC Cannon says right now he can't offer much comfort.
Part 1 found.
It was March 3rd, 1989, in Berkeley County, South Carolina. 5-year-old Justin Turner leaves his home in the early morning, heading in the direction of his bus stop, where he was set to meet his neighbors. His stepmother, Megan Turner, who usually accompanied him, had been busy in the shower, while his father, Victor Turner, was off at work, leaving Justin to make this short walk alone. Later on, Megan would wait for the same bus to arrive at the end of the day, only when it did, Justin never got off. In fact, according to the bus driver and the neighbors, he never even made it on the bus in the first place. That night, Justin Turner was reported missing, and the search to find him was underway immediately. It was the third day of the search, March 5th, 1989, that yielded its biggest turnout, with volunteers from the community banding together with law enforcement to help find the young boy, with the group being accompanied by a camera crew from the local Channel 2 station.
I gotta say, like, Americans, like, they're really kind of amazing nation, because here in the Philippines, if you're gone and you're missing, like, you have to file police for that, and it's kind of not in the community's hands to, like, find you. Maybe so to some, but not. I never heard a story that, like, from our community here in my country, to like find someone that who are, missing. Sometimes they are, but it's pretty rare.
As everyone shared the same hope that the child would finally be found. And so they were off, with many searchers directing their focus on the nearby
Heroes.
woods, while others, including Justin's own family, would search closer to the property as well as its neighboring land. This included rummaging around various sheds and piles of trash, as they were made to leave no stone unturned that day, with everyone geared up for a long, grueling day of searching. Though in the end, all they needed was a few minutes.
What?
Something's in there.
Nathan, let's have her.
No camera. Where's he at? Where's he at?
In there.
Is he okay?
With the cameras rolling, we see the moment that Victor Turner discovered his own son, stuffed inside an old cabinet in his own camper, with his reaction making one thing very apparent. Justin was no longer alive.
Oh my god.
The footage is devastating and made worse upon the discovery that not only was Justin dead, but he had been brutally assaulted and murdered by strangulation. But there was something even more unsettling about this footage. The fact that that very camper had already been searched in the days prior, and likely numerous times. Yet somehow Justin's body was never found, meaning that whoever the killer was may have hidden him there days after the disappearance.
The latest word.
Wait, that doesn't make sense though. If the boy's body's there, if it's searched prior, then how did you get there? Was, man, so awful. I pray for, Justin Turner to have this fortunate fate. It's kind of sad.
Word about the boy's grim fate has really shaken up this Monk's
Scary.
Corner neighborhood.
They were clearly dealing with an incredibly dangerous and deranged individual, and tracking down whoever was responsible became law enforcement in the area's top priority. Though this certainly didn't mean that results were guaranteed, as there was a severe lack of physical evidence found on the scene, making it incredibly difficult to find any definitive information as to who might have done this.
This is always like hard for people to, catch the true criminals, especially when there's no evidence, man. It's hard to track them.
And despite their best efforts,
3, 2, 1, Happy New Year!
New Year?
a full year passed,
It's
Oh.
1991
and then 2,
Oh my god.
and then 3.
Happy 2000!
3 years?
Then a full decade passed,
Oh,
then 2, and then 3.
wow.
From the
3
start,
decades?
Justin Turner's case was ice cold. And in the end, it seemed clear that it would remain this way forever. Until
Breaking news this afternoon out of Berkeley County as the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office has made 2 arrests in the Justin Turner case.
Okay.
The Berkeley County Sheriff's Office confirms that yesterday they arrested Justin's father, Victor Lee Turner, and his stepmother, Megan Renee Turner.
Excuse me. Okay, so they did it. Okay. I don't know what the evidence here yet, but how did they find it? That they, they did this.
In the upstate, both charged with murder.
35 long years after Justin Turner's
That is
body
so
was
long,
discovered,
35 years. Damn.
it would be the very man who found him that was charged for his murder, along with his wife and
Oh my
Justin's
God.
stepmother. This supposedly came as a result of improved forensic technology, as
I
well as
see.
other information that had previously been unreported, like one account where his stepmother Megan had been overheard talking about how she and Justin had gotten into a fight that very morning, with the woman eventually laughing about it and saying, "But I won that fight." From the very beginning, Megan was always considered a suspect in this case. In fact, she had even already been arrested for his death at one point in 1990, but was swiftly released on account of a lack of physical evidence. And this lack of physical evidence is still a factor to this day, as the recent arrest
That
of
is
this
so
couple
bad.
hinged mainly on circumstantial evidence, with one of the key pieces being that news footage. Investigators pointed out a number of strange moments in Victor's behaviors and actions that day when they went
Interesting.
back and reviewed the recording, with the most glaring being that he had found his son literally seconds into the search, entering that camper and going right for the drawer that he was hidden in.
That is very weird from him. That is a very peculiar behavior that he did that. Like he kind of immediately found his son miraculously. It was kind of weird and very specific that he found his son in that case. There may be a substantial evidence to prove that he did it. Let's see.
Almost as if he
That's
knew
so
where to
disgusting.
look. And given that he owned the property and he owned the camper, it makes more sense as to how Justin's body could have seemingly just appeared there, as he and his wife were the ones who had the easiest access to it. On top of this, upon finding Justin, Victor didn't rush in to check on his condition, and he seemed to just assume he was dead despite only getting a quick glance. He didn't rush to hold him, he didn't yell out to him, he just backed away and told those around him that he had found his son.
Yeah, and just leave in the site. That is very interesting to see though. Like he wasn't even concerned about it. He wasn't checking his body or checking his pulse if he is, still okay. That is weird. Also, if they did it, why did they did it, What are their motivation to? Unfortunately, it's kind of sad. Both of them did it too. So what in their mind have been? What are they even planning? What?
Shortly after, it's alleged that Victor asked a detective on the scene what would happen if a family member had done this, with this question supposedly being posed before it was even revealed that Justin had been murdered. The sheriff on the case later proclaimed about the footage, "You look at it, you look at the actions, you look at the body language. I'll let the
Okay.
people draw their own conclusion." On top of this, the same sheriff also recalled that right after the body was found, Victor and Megan basically refused to ever speak to detectives again, and they never once called in to check on the case for the entire 35 years. With the sheriff saying, "Nobody that I'm aware of from any of the family has ever heard from them again. I never got one phone call. Not one phone call from his daddy or his stepmother. What are y'all doing about my son's death? Not one. What does that tell you?" Watching the moments that Victor found his son's body, now knowing the context, disturbing doesn't even begin to describe it. And the
Yeah.
fact that it took 35 years for this couple to finally be placed behind bars is baffling. But things were about to
35 years.
get a whole lot more shocking.
During our
do you
hearing,
mean?
we requested that the charges
What's
against
that? What happened?
Megan and Vic be dismissed. We were very fortunate today that we got a copy of the order from the judge dismissing the charges against both Megan and Vic.
Dismissing.
As on June 7th, 2024,
Oh
months
my-
after their arrest,
Oh my God. Well, if you can't think of it, they don't have that much evidence. They're only, psychological stuff. But they must have a fingerprints or something, man. Damn. You really didn't find anything to have any type of substantial evidence to prove that, they're the one who did this? Huh.
Victor and Megan were released from prison, and all charges against them were dropped, with the judge citing a lack of any new conclusive physical evidence, as well as the fact that nearly 20 people who were initially involved in the case, including witnesses and those who initially provided key testimony, had since perished, with the judge believing that it was now impossible to get the full story.
Oh, man.
On top of this, it was also discovered soon after the arrest, a notorious serial killer just so happened to be in the area on the day of Justin's murder. His name was Richard Evanitz, and though it's unknown how many victims he truly has, it appears that at least 4 kidnappings and 3 slayings have been attributed to him, with some of these victims being taken in broad daylight when they were getting off the bus. Richard has long since passed away, and there's really no verifiable links to prove his involvement with this crime, with this potentially being just a strange coincidence, as it is worth noting that it seems like the rest of Justin's family still believe that Victor and Megan had killed him. But all of this left the case in a position that the judge felt was unsolvable, leaving the case without conclusion and without justice.
Damn. What do you think about it, friends? Like, I kind of think like there is considerable doubt that they did that, but there's also a lot of coincidence that, oh my God, the dad already found the body 2 minutes from the searching. Who knew? But yeah, that is very weird though. But if it does, what are their motive of killing their own kid? That's just disgusting. If it was the murder or the other serial killer, like, how did it get snuck to the cabin? You know what I mean? That's extremely specific. But unfortunately, there's no type of stronger evidence to prove that. So I guess the judge has just ruled out that they need to dismiss it. So it's kind of unfortunate.
Meaning that in this footage, we may never truly know if Victor had just discovered his son or his victim.
Damn.
The 3-day search is over,
Nick
but not in the
Crowley
way anyone
presents
wanted to see.
Divas que não
Hell
recomendamos
yeah.
para crianças
Darkest
nem
moments
para
in
pessoas
history.
sensíveis.
5 seconds. Drop.
George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, were going on a camping trip. This is a beautiful spot to set up camp, George. George turned around and saw something scary. It was a thin trail of smoke.
There seems to be something innately interesting about survival shows. For decades, audiences have been enamored by depictions of people pushing themselves to the limit in order to survive harsh and almost inhumane conditions. Most notably, and one of the more tame examples, is Survivor, which no doubt popularized the genre, as it isn't just a staple of television in the US, but all the other countries that have since created their own versions of the show. In France, the show was called Koh Lanta, and was created back in 2001 by the company Adventureline Productions, or ALP for short. And by the year 2015, the show was one of the most popular in its market, having seen 13 successful seasons. And so, riding the high of this impressive feat, ALP decided to try their hand at a new show, one that was far more daring.
Daring? Oh. Mountain? Jungle? Oh my God. Wow.
The show was called Dropped and would follow 2 teams of 4 contestants who would be blindfolded and dropped into an undisclosed location each week via helicopter, with each team having the same mission: make it to civilization, charge a phone, and make a rescue call. And the first team to do so would win, while the losing party would have to vote one member off. It was a fairly interesting idea, but it also already had a proof of concept, as there was actually an identical show being made in Sweden at the time that was already well received. Though Dropped wanted to turn up the interest even more, and that's exactly what they did when they announced that the cast would be composed solely of famous athletes, most of whom turned out to be French Olympians who were already well beloved in the country. It had all the makings of a certain success, though in the end, this show would never actually make it to television, with the showrunners proclaiming that the program would not see the light of day. And this was all thanks to the events of March 9th, 2015.
Oh my God, 2015. That's extremely recent, actually. Well, archaic and
It was the start of their second episode. The first
Well, archaic in internet times, I guess.
First had seen the elimination of professional footballer Sylvian Wiltord after his team failed to make it out of the wilderness first, which left 7 contestants who were now ready for round 2. The day's shoot began in La Rioja, Argentina, with the cast being blindfolded in preparation to be loaded up into their helicopters and dropped at their next location. Olympic gold medal swimmer Alan Bernard was one of the first to step onto the craft, but was quickly told to exit, as his team had been the first to be dropped in the last episode, meaning that to make it fair, it was time for the other group to go first, thus giving them slightly more time, and so he stepped off the craft and waited with his group, as the other team instead loaded in. There were 2 helicopters on the scene. One was set to carry 3 contestants, Florence Attu, Samil Mouffe,
they come to the line and Mouffe touches and just gets there.
And Alexis Vastine, along with a crew member and 1 pilot. Meanwhile, the other craft was strictly for the crew, holding 4 production workers as well as a single pilot, with Alan Bernard and his group staying on the ground with their backs turned to the craft, as they eagerly anticipated the return of those helicopters to then take them. And so, with their blindfolds on in the pitch darkness, the team listened as they heard the sounds of the crew cheering on a successful takeoff. Though the cheer—
Oh, I kind of think that the helicopters will, the helicopters will. I think that's what I'm trying to predict here, so we'll see.
cheering would be cut short by an awful sound. The sound of crushing metal.
Oh my god, it's already smoking. What happened? Man, the eerie music on the video is crazy. Oh my god. What an accident. Oh no. We should have lifted one of the helicopters first and then the second helicopter.
The aftermath was recorded on the cell phone of someone standing nearby, showing us a large group of people rushing towards a massive plume of smoke.
What happened?
Where they would find the remains of one of the aircrafts, mangled and reduced to an unrecognizable mass of steel, with none of the contestants being able to make sense of what had just happened. It's very possible that the incident itself was captured by the production's own cameras. However, this footage has never and likely will never be released.
Yeah.
Though coincidentally, they weren't the only ones recording, as someone watching nearby just so happened to be filming the takeoff of these 2 crafts, showing us the reality of what had just transpired.
Oh my god. Actually, my heart is beating faster right now. It's so close. Oh! Hey, oh my god, that's so close. Oh my god.
Just as the 2 aircrafts had taken to the sky, the second and lowest helicopter began rapidly ascending, with the pilot seemingly failing to realize that the other craft was directly above them.
Oh my god, that was a disaster. I thought it was the wind that trying to blow the helicopter off. So they both didn't notice each other. Man, that is scary. I don't even know how many survived. Some people can survive in this type of crashes if they have a soft landing, hopefully. Man, so my prediction was kind of right actually. The 2 choppers did, 2 helicopters did, crash each other. Damn.
Them, causing the 2 to collide and then plummet to the ground below. In the end, 10 people went into the sky, and none made it down alive.
Wow. Wow. None of them even survived. Damn. Oh. What a disaster.
The footage makes little sense even today. The weather was perfect, the crafts were some of the best in the world, and both of the pilots not only had 30 plus years of flying experience, but they were both flight instructors themselves. Not to mention that the show's security coordinator, who was in charge of facilitating the takeoff, had actually worked on the Swedish version of the show and had ample experience in this exact situation. And yet, this is how it ended.
What? So they could have just like tried to flew the other helicopter. Why didn't they simultaneously flew? Even though they know this is dangerous. I even thought it was the wind because they must be professionals at least.
It was eventually determined that the higher helicopter was likely flying out of visual contact from the lower helicopter, and that the pilot of the ascending chopper likely just didn't realize how close they were, with reports also indicating that he may have been distracted by the actual filming process, something we've tragically seen before.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull out. We don't know what has just happened right there.
And because of this, it appeared that at least some pilot error was to blame. But it was ALP that was found largely responsible, with alleged serious safety oversights being discovered later on, with it appearing that this crash was the result of multiple small factors coming together to form one catastrophic accident. After the incident, Dropped was swiftly cancelled, while the team that had so narrowly avoided getting on that flight and in turn likely having perished themselves were
Oh my god, so they are still alive, but unfortunately there are 10 people that died there, so sad. But at least the athletes are kind of alive to, have pride for their own country in France. But man, that is such a disaster.
left in complete and utter shock, forever changed by the accident. With Alan Bernard, the man that's said to have been physically on that doomed craft for a split second, later recounting that there was a life before and after Dropped, because you don't come out of such an accident unscathed. In the end, AOP was indicted on manslaughter charges and found to be an inexcusable fault for the disaster, though it doesn't really seem like they faced any sort of actual legal punishment, with the company continuing their work on other programs to this day. But one thing that I was surprised to find in my research was that AOP is actually no stranger to the world of disturbing television moments. In fact, they had experienced one just a single year before this accident.
What happened?
As mentioned previously, AOP was already quite versed in the world of survival television, as they had run 13 successful seasons of Koh Lanta. Though what I failed to mention is that the company had actually produced 14 seasons, or at least they attempted to. It was season 13, during the very first day of filming, when contestant Jara Baban collapsed after the show's second challenge, with the show continuing to film as if nothing happened. Anonymous reports from the set claim that once on the ground, it took the medical team nearly 5 minutes before intervening, as to not interrupt their recording, and once they eventually did tend to him, he became more alert and complained of having severe cramps. But the show's primary doctor, Terry Costa, didn't believe that his ailments required an emergency airlift, as this would have cost the production company far too much money, especially on the first day of filming. Instead, Jara was diagnosed with dehydration and was brought back to their makeshift infirmary, where he would lay for nearly 2 full hours, until he was finally taken away by a proper medical team. On his way off the island, Jara Baban would pass away from cardiac arrest.
Oh my god. Dehydration can do that? I didn't know dehydration can really give you a cardiac arrest. So friends, don't forget to, drink your water. Because, shit like this happens, so it's kind of sad that he even died. Bless his heart.
At the age of just 25. Cardiac arrest that was completely missed by the show's doctors. The testimony from those on the scene painted ALP and Dr. Costa in an extremely negative light, as their inability to act quickly and recognize the ailments of Baban likely contributed to the young man losing his life, with some claiming that the doctor and the showrunners were far more interested in keeping the production running smoothly than actually caring for the young man. And though ALP denied any wrongdoing, the season would essentially be cancelled right there on the spot. But disturbingly, despite the filming lasting only 1 day, Baban's death wasn't the only tragedy to occur as a result.
Oh my god, how many parts do you need to go wrong? This needs to be investigated, man. They really have lack of safety in this television.
Due to intense public...
Oh my god. Damn. Yeah. I wonder what they did wrong though. I think did he really try his best to saving him, or were they really just concerned about money? I don't know. It's kind of fortunate that he, off himself in here. Huh. It gets
Ridicule.
really dark,
Dr.
huh?
Terry Costa would end his life just days later, stating that all the negative news reports about him were wrong and that they had sullied his good name, writing in a final note, "I'm sure that I treated Jarrah in a respectable manner, as a patient and not as a contestant," adding, "Having to reconstruct this destroyed reputation would be unbearable," before ending his letter with a message to those on the shoot that had spoken out against him. The author of the anonymous comments about the circumstances of Jarrah Baban's death, and those who spread them, will have to face their conscience. In the end, Kolata would return a year later and has been going strong ever since, as ALP did not appear to face any serious repercussions for the incidents that transpired under their watch, with their fault in both cases being debated to this day.
I think there really just like a lot of safety. They really need a lot of safety precautions when it comes to these type of challenges, man. Especially if you expect that this is about survival. There really just has to be medical stuff, or you can face the legal ramifications from this type of stuff. So nostalgic. Akui Agora?
Emergência 91.
Akui Agora. Oh, Spanish. So, shout out to my Spanish friends there. Part of them are from South America, so some of you might understand what these letters means.
A vida como ela é na tela do SBT.
Also from my Spanish friends there. What is agui? I am pretty sure I'm just saying this wrong. Akui? I think it's akui agora. What does that mean? I'm not very profound with Spanish language. I'm only profound in English. Proficient. Proficient is the word. I'm proficient in English. Yes. Yes.
It's July 5th, 1993, in downtown Sao Paulo, Brazil. A doorman working at a busy office building looks up to the sky.
I think Brazil speaks Portuguese, if I'm right here. Some of my friends, some of my Spanish friends don't understand Portuguese, I think, because Portuguese is different from Spanish. And Portuguese is mainly spoken in Brazil.
Sky and notices a woman sitting on top of the structure, her legs dangling 7 stories above the pavement below. One wrong move away from certain death. Precisely what she wanted. The man calls the police immediately, though surprisingly, they wouldn't be the first on the scene, and instead, they were beaten by a camera crew. The group is from the show Aqui Agora, a news program from the network SBT that had become notorious for their sensationalized and shocking stories. In their history, they had captured live footage of police riots, kidnappings, and even murders, which they would then broadcast on air as part of their show. And this unfolding situation was their content for the day.
It's kind of shocking, like how these type of TVs are almost similar, extremely similar to TikTok. You know what I mean? Like they really like try to record these extreme ways of people, especially like doing dangerous stuff or even like things that you're not allowed to see. That is very gory at best. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad. It really just not good for your mind to watch some of those type of stuff in the internet. But it's kind of weird, like they propagate a lot of this to incite drama.
Nós fomos ver o que estava acontecendo. E quando nós chegamos ao local, o corpo de bombeiros chegou, os bombeiros chegaram junto conosco. O que é um suicídio? Onde? Nós vimos junto. Um boibeiro olhou pra cima, tava lá a menina, sentada no parapeito. E eu tomei um susto, a câmera olhou também, nós tomamos um susto.
Okay.
Her name was Daniele Alves, and at the age of just 16, she had entered that office building and climbed up to—
Oh my god, she's 16. That is so sad. I use sad as a word a lot. But man, she's so young, 16. So some people who really, try to unfortunately game quit themselves are extremely young, and it is so sad, man. It's really to have those type of ideation, and they're so young, man. They have a lot of potential for the future because they're still young, dude. Life is always not determined. Life always change. But I guess they're just in a dark place to have this type of stuff, and unfortunately, no one's there to help them. It's kind of sad. Hopefully, man, I'm really hoping that this won't go bad. I, I, I really wish, man.
To its roof, with the hopes of ending her life. And minutes after Aki Agora arrived, she did just that, as their cameras captured it all.
Oh my
terrível. Daqui a pouco aqui agora.
Oh my god. Oh man. This is how deeply deeply impactful for someone to, just off themselves from your life. It's just like there's some part of you that kind of lost, to have someone that are still young and have some problems in their life. And it feels lonely to have this. So man, extremely dark indeed. Hopefully you all get there, have some help and someone to be there for you, and hopefully you uh, I don't know sometimes to say anything, but I at least want to say anything, I guess, just to hopefully help for anyone out there, and especially if someone going through these dark times, you'll have you have something accompany to you, maybe some kind of a friend or a good friend, or probably life will always change for you. So uh, life is never been determined, to life is never determined for a bad thing, because life is like a roller coaster. It will always go up or down. So if you're in a dark place, maybe someday that that roller coaster will go up, and going up is always like extremely long and extremely slow. So maybe wait for better times, and hopefully someone will there accompanying you in your darkest moments. I really hope for you. So we will go through life together, and actually I'm going to cry right now. uh really, but I'm really serious. Like, I really hope there's someone's there for you, because we all suffer being alone and being sad, unfortunately, and all of the dramas and great in this crazy world. And that's why I'm here for you to react to this, and hopefully we'll get through it together. Okay, and like and subscribe. This is not free. My inspiration is not free, okay? No, it's actually just free. Love is always free and unconditional. But come on, man, please like and subscribe. I'm gonna cry.
Agora vai mostrar as imagens chocantes de uma jovem pulando para a morte. Atenção, são imagens exclusivas que não recomendamos para crianças nem para pessoas sensíveis.
Later that night, that footage would be packaged together into a roughly 10-minute segment, which the network promoted heavily throughout the day, hyping it up to be one of their most shocking episodes ever. And
oh my god, if they're almost all here, even here in America, I never even see like a dead person, like especially like close to their shot. Like, they always blur it and never show their face, or they even just show their hands or legs. I'm sorry for the graphic nature for this imagery, but they really don't watch this, because I know some people are sensitive. They seems to be very. They really just do it for for the money. It's so sad. It's extremely bad, that they try to, I guess, money over morals, I guess.
And supposedly it was. As though it appears that the full segment is currently lost, the footage of Daniele's fall was said to have been displayed almost entirely in full, showing the moments just before and just after she had landed, where she was said to be still somewhat alive. It was.
Oh my god. She was somewhat alive. Oh no.
More than shocking, and left viewers outraged that something of this nature could be shown on TV.
Yeah,
But
like nobody even shows that. How brazen are they to, you know, show this to the whole country? I guess. Man, I didn't know she was a little bit alive.
while showing the footage proved highly controversial enough, it was the context surrounding the footage that made it even more depraved.
Okay.
As mentioned previously, police were called to the scene to assist in efforts to help Daniele Alves. Yet the first to arrive was that Aki Agora news crew. And this wasn't a coincidence. They were all about capturing events as they unfolded. And in order to be the first on the scene, they actually tapped into the police scanners, monitoring all of the calls and information being passed through officers in order to get leads on potential stories.
Okay.
Which is how they got word
my
of this
God,
incident.
They probably use the story of her life in order to bully her. It's so. Oh my God. I think I'm just assuming here, so we still don't know.
Hearing the calls and speeding over as quickly as possible. It wasn't illegal per se, but it surely wasn't ethical either.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And this
ethical.
was only the start. After Daniele jumped, the crew that had filmed her had already captured their dramatic footage for the day. And as the officers and medical personnel dealt with the aftermath, the crew decided to turn their focus to the next element of their story: Daniele's parents. They packed up their equipment right away and headed straight for the home of Daniele's mother and father, with it being unclear how they even got that address in the first place. And there, they once again had beaten the police, who were still back at the scene trying to piece everything together. Though rather than waiting for them, the crew instead decided to take the lead, going up to the door, ringing the doorbell, and telling Daniele's parents that their daughter had just passed away. The crew then...
What is wrong with these people? Oh my God. It's kind of unfortunate too, because, you know, especially in today's world, where cameras are a lot more prominent and people can record anything for content nowadays. Yeah, it's gonna unfortunately be propagated. Everything for money and possibly eyes or maybe popularity, I guess.
supposedly took the parents to the police station, consoling them all while their cameras kept rolling, as the crying parents made for the perfect footage for their segment. Exploitative is the only word for it,
Yeah.
but what they did next, well, that was something far more evil. Having dropped the parents off at the police station, the crew then got to work creating their segment for the night, and as part of it, they needed to find a reason as to why Daniele did this. They first theorized that this was likely due to a drug addiction which had somehow spiraled and led to her jumping, but then they decided that that just wasn't dramatic enough, and they instead shifted to a different story, one that they reported to all of their viewers as if it...
Oh my God, they're gonna blame the parents, are they? I think I'm still, you know, but it's safe. I think it's safe to assume from based on their actions, they're going to blame the parents. We'll see.
If it were a fact. They reported that Daniele Alves had ended her own life because of her abusive parents, placing the entire blame on the family that they had just supposedly helped. And there was one massive issue with this. It wasn't even true. The claim appears to have been quite literally based on nothing. It has no verifiable backing and seems to have...
That is so painful, man. You just lost your daughter, and one day you just lost your daughter, and just like, oh my God, that is so frustrating. This, you know what? I'm actually going to say that the cancellation from this show is, you know, I think I'll put it more like this. I'm not gonna do that. I think I just wish them to get, you know, justice from this. Get, you know, get the books from the lawyers. And hopefully they get in jail, because this is just so bad. And misinformation too. This is why we really need to take in consideration of all information out there, because it's easy to be misinformed by this type of stuff.
Been a complete guess. In fact, just days later, Daniele's best friend spoke out and said that Daniele had done this because of a broken heart, not because of drugs or any sort of abuse. It's sickening.
Yeah, it's just sickening, man. Like, my God, what in their mind even do this, you know? So it's kind of sad, like she has a broken heart. It is kind of unfortunate that there are a lot of people who are brokenhearted that are gonna unfortunately do this. You can always like find any type of lovers. It's not like always definite. And the second thing you should be important, friends. Don't take relationship too seriously. This may be very weird. I actually learned a psychology by, if you really put so much importance to a relationship, you're gonna get your expectations are gonna get wrecked. You know what I mean? Because you're so in love by this person, you think that they're like a god, you know, and they're really part of your own life. But when they broke up to you or they became disappointing, you're gonna hurt yourself in a world of hurt. So if you don't take it a little bit seriously, like you're just there, you're kind of friends. I think I always treat relationship like a friend. Like we're just gonna do this together, and that's it. We're just gonna spend part of our lives having children and suffer. I guess we're probably going to suffer together, but that's the only suffering truth. You don't put too much importance from type of relationship. You can always find other type of people too. So I guess that's okay if you're brokenhearted. But I guess in this case, she's just in a dark place, I guess.
As the crew cared so little about Daniele's own story that they seemingly just made up their own. And imagine for a moment being those parents, going about your day when a TV crew comes to your house and tells you that your daughter is dead. And despite consoling you, those same people then broadcast your daughter's death for the whole world to see and blame you for it. Naturally, this didn't go without repercussions for Aki Agura, who had crossed the line in the most soulless way possible. And the effects were swift and powerful.
Yes, bro, yes. Swift and powerful. That's what we wanted. Because what they did is just horrendous. There's no word from it. That's possibly even worse than death, I think. I think that is still very awful. But man, what they did was just disgusting.
As the rating soared 33%, making it more popular than ever before.
Oh my, what? The program aired Danya's without censorship, even showing nearly her lifeless body on the floor? What? No way! Oh my god! I was expecting like something bad that will happen to them. What? No way! Oh my god! Are people really this depraved? Man. Oh man. So sad to be a parent for them, man. This is
The network would end up being sued by Daniele's family, who was eventually awarded $1 million as a result. But realistically...
Oh my god, 1 million? Should have been 100 million, at least. 1 million? This is so... Oh man, I really want to swear right now. I'm trying to not swear because of YouTube, But man, fuck it. I just want to say it. Fuck it. It's such bullshit. I think it's just appropriate,
No amount of money could ever be enough, as the show's actions permanently affected that family and destroyed their grieving process in a way that I can't even wrap my mind around.
My god.
But this did little to slow down Aki Agura, as they remained on the air for 4 more long
years. Okay, what? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, so annoying. It's kind of unfortunate, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, I never been so frustrated. You never see me frustrated, man. I'm the nicest. Well, I'm not confirmed the nicest guy, but oh my god. I'm so angry right now. It's actually so rare for me to get angry too, so I always control my anger. Like, fuck this, bro. Fuck. Yes, and I swear it again. I think it's just appropriate.
But this did little to slow down Aki Agura, as they remained on the air for 4 more long years, during which they leaned even more into these unfolding crime stories, leading to them witnessing numerous other deaths, and even being taken hostage themselves on multiple occasions. Agura would continue on air until the year 1997, when one day the show was pulled due to its declining ratings, and in its place, the network would instead begin airing the Disney Club.
What?
You look down the track and there.
The Midnight Rider. Did you skip something? That's number 3. Number 2. Number 4. I see. I don't get what he's saying in the last time. I think he's trying to censor something because YouTube or probably something. I guess we're just gonna go continue, guys. The Midnight Rider. Hey, Midnight Riders from, Left 4 Dead. I love the Midnight Riders from the Left 4 Dead series.
There is a train coming toward you. What do you think would happen?
It was an exciting day for the crew of the upcoming movie Midnight Rider, the Greg Allman story. Years had been spent planning and scripting for this biographical film about Greg Allman.
This case is technically about a film, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. Okay, that seems interesting.
Of the Allman Brothers. And this day, February 20th, 2016, would be the day that they would finally start filming. It was nothing more than a camera test, a day in which the crew would practice filming, as well as getting acquainted to their equipment and new co-workers. But for the group of 20, the excitement in the air was palpable, as they were given access to a stunning piece of land in Nahunta, Georgia. So stunning, in fact, that the film's director, Randall Miller, just couldn't wait to begin the actual process of filming. Slicing through the property was an old railroad that had crossed over a scenic bridge raised high above the Altamaha.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. Railroads. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
River. The perfect location for a shot that Miller had been envisioning. It was set to be a dream sequence where Allman's character would wake up on a hospital bed in the middle of the tracks and see a vision of his brother. And it was a shot that Miller just had to have. However, there was one major issue. The crew was given permission to film on the property, but not the actual railway, as this was owned by a separate company named CSX. And when Miller asked them for permission to film the shot, he was denied multiple times, as these tracks were still.
Oh my god. I hate that I'm right. I'm starting to hate that I am correct all the time, man. Well, I did something wrong, but yeah. Oh my god. This is gonna be bad.
When Miller asked them for permission to film the shot, he was denied multiple times, as these tracks were still very active, making it far too dangerous. But being on location and seeing that bridge, Miller couldn't help himself. And so he directed his crew to set up the scene anyway, believing that they could quickly steal a shot without anyone noticing. Miller had supposedly done his research too, and discovered that only 2 trains were set to roll through the area that day, and he knew the general intervals in which they were supposed to pass. Based on this, he figured that those trains wouldn't arrive for a few hours, giving them more than enough time to film the movie's very first scene. And so they quickly set everything up, rolling out a metal hospital.
He do his own research? I mean, you can't do your own type of research, man. You need some hardline research.
Hospital bed and placing it towards the center of the bridge, with Miller assuring his crew that this was in fact safe, and that they had nothing to worry about, as the camera began to roll. Minutes later, the bed began to shake, and the silence around them was shattered by the sound of a whistle.
Uh-oh. Oh my god, no. Oh no.
Before them was an unexpected 3rd train, heading straight for the bridge that the entire crew was now on. Miller had gotten the schedule wrong. At this point, the crew was filming a considerable distance into the bridge, but the shortest and really only route to safety was to go towards the oncoming train, and so that's precisely the route they took. And as they did so, there was—
Oh my god, they need to face the train in order to escape. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh no.
There was little panic within the group, as rather than rushing to safety, they all seemed more focused on retrieving their equipment, believing that they had more than enough time to salvage everything. As after all, losing this expensive equipment on day 1 would have been devastating for the production. They likely had no idea that from the sound of that first whistle, they had just 60 seconds until the train would cross that bridge.
That is so fast. if you don't know, friends, yes, train can go extremely fast. You think you're just very slow and do that. I don't know what the fastest thing, but I'm pretty sure they're extremely fast. I'm pretty sure that's why majority of, package has been traveled by railroad because they're efficient and fast.
whether they were off it or not. As they began to realize just how quickly the train was approaching, their movements became more hurried, which is where one major problem occurred. That metal hospital bed. It was incredibly heavy on its own, and though it was designed to roll, its wheels kept getting caught on the tracks. And worst of all, it was set up horizontally, which essentially turned it into a barricade. And despite their best efforts to save everything, their time was up, and as the camera continued rolling, the train would arrive.
My God. Oh my God. Oh my God, man. Oh, just fucking leave it there. Leave everything, just run.
At this moment, the train itself also had a camera rolling, which showed that even in those final moments, the crew was still trying to salvage their equipment.
Oh my God.
What happened next was a blur. Some were able to leap to safety, while others managed to jump to the side and cling onto the bridge. But there was still one thing that remained in the train's path. That hospital bed, which upon impact was torn to pieces. Pieces that were flung all over the area, striking multiple crew members and leaving many injured. But it was 27-year-old filming assistant Sarah Jones who was struck by the largest fragment, with a force so strong that it caused her to fall directly in front of the train. In total, 7 crew members were hurt but alive, while Sarah Jones had tragically been killed.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's also interesting that the bed causes a lot of fragmentation. And that splattered a lot of, pieces. Man. It's unfortunate for Sarah. And so sad. Yeah. Man.
On the very first day of production, in the very first shot, the unthinkable had happened. And when it came to passing the blame, most turned their attention to Randall Miller,
Yeah,
as he was
Randall Miller needs to be in prison, man. He needs to be in prison. For sure, for sure.
the one who ordered the scene to be shot despite being denied permission numerous times. And this public disdain towards him only grew as he and his production company denied any responsibility, and instead, they blamed the railway company.
Bro. Blaming the company, they didn't even do anything. They're just doing their job, as usual. Man. Decided to do his own research. Yeah. Where's your source, man? Where's your source?
Just 1 week after the incident, Randall Miller requested a new permit to begin filming Knight Rider once again, asking if they can begin as soon as possible. This, however, would never actually happen.
Okay.
As he was instead arrested and given a 1-year prison sentence for manslaughter, as well as a
1 year, bro. At least 10 years, I think. 10 to 15. Because that is a manslaughter. Man, and you know what it is. And especially extremely unsafety, just extreme unsafety.
a 10-year ban from directing any films, a mandate that he would actually go on to break, though he was swiftly forgiven, and today he continues to direct.
Oh my
But while
God. Oh. Why are you not? That was extreme. He was too brazen by that. Like, he should be in prison at least like 10 years from that, at least. Damn.
It's easy to focus on the morbid nature of this case and the man responsible for it. There was one unexpected outcome of this horrific accident. Upon her passing, Sarah Jones' parents set up a foundation called Safety for Sarah, which pushed for safer working conditions on film sets, with the movement bringing to light a number of safety concerns that were often brushed aside and ignored. And all in all, their efforts have made TV and film sets significantly safer, giving their daughter a purpose even after her death. On top of this, Sarah Jones was also honored by countless production companies across the world, as crews began writing her name on their film slates, with her ultimately being
Scandals River, Downtown Abbey. They put her on their clip, so to have the cut. It's kind of cool. Like they have like an amazing ways to, at least there's a good ending from this. To propagate more safetiness from making these type of productions. It's kind of like shocking. Like they don't have enough safetiness to record some stuff, because in every job there's always like risk and dangers. At least another type of safety to at least to be at least being safety.
over 2,000 of these tributes for her from some of the world's most well-known productions. But by far the biggest tribute was when she was honored at that year's Academy Awards ceremony, a stage that she always dreamed of making it to.
When you saw her name up on the screen at the Academy Awards, what were your feelings?
Oh my God. Wow. Good on Sarah. Like she really inspired like a lot of people, to have like a safety in productions. Not only that, very congratulations to her. She got an Oscar. Wow.
Overwhelming.
She made it to the Academy. She made it.
Yeah. Yeah, that face is a little bit creepy. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of happy ending from that video. At least they now propagate a lot of more safety from their productions. We are gonna turn on this light to have like a sunshine. Man, that was a little bit dark. I guess thank you for sticking till the end of the video here, man, because that was, I don't think I can watch that without alone. I think, yeah. That was extremely dark, but I'm really honored. Honored. What am I honored for? I'm really like happy and proud if you're still sticking around to watch this video. And hopefully we can get a little bit talk here, some refreshers. We're gonna increase some light, like this. Alright. And we can just hopefully a little bit speaking here and just a little bit of chilling from the video, because we need a little bit of clear from our mind after those type of dark stuff we just witnessed. So I guess that's all for today, friends. I really it was actually kind of fun. I don't know if you still want to have some dark videos. I really just want to see from them, but I guess we don't want to have all negativity. So I might react to something that is funny or any type of science. I actually love science and other type of knowledge in the world. So I might try to react some science and stuff. And I still don't know. Maybe some funny stuff. But yeah, I'm still trying to consider some stuff. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, friends. And good evening.